Hi everyone, welcome to Candace'sCanvases.com. I'm Candace. Yeah, I'm Candace Gillespie, and welcome to Cards Monday. We're going to be working on a beautiful back round that is watercolored, essentially. So I am actually coming to you from Bemis. I think it might be Bemis Bay. No, it's Bemis, New York, and my parents-in-law have a little vacation rental that they're here for a couple months, so we needed to come and visit them. So we're kind of based on the shore of Chautauqua Lake in New York, and it's just so beautiful, a breath of fresh air, because we are from Southern California, where it's hot and dry, very Mediterranean-like temperatures. So anyway, this video here is a video I have been saving for you for a long time, but it's finally time to pull it out. It's kind of appropriate, huh? I'm on vacation, pull out the video. Okay, so what you have seen me do so far is on my largest acrylic block, I have used coordinating colors, and I have taken a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White cardstock, and I've spritzed that ink that I applied in miscellaneous random order on my block. I spritzed that with water, and I laid my Whisper White cardstock on top of there and let it sit there for a few seconds to absorb. Then you saw me where it looked kind of muddy. I sopped it up with just like a dry tissue or dry baby wipe or paper towel or something. I took my heat tool and I am just drying that up fast. Now I'm taking my Polka-Dot Pieces stamp set. I use the clear here. As indicated, you can order also wood, so whichever you prefer, but I'm using this. See, I attempted this already, but it didn't. I accidentally stamped the sentiment upside down, so I'm just going to stamp right on top of these hearts. I thought it would look fine anyway. Now I'm using different colors of ink to stamp this up. The first I used Bermuda Bay. Next I'm bringing in Pacific Point to color the wing, and it would be ideal if I had the full set of Stampin' Write markers, but I don't, sadly, not yet, but I will get them because I love them. And then I'm taking some Garden Green, and I'm kind of really getting that leaf in the stem there. And then I'm just going to stamp this right over those hearts. Before I do, I'm huffing on it like to reactivate the ink if it had dried anywhere. Letting that transfer for a second. And then I'm going to take my paper snips and just cut it out so that it fits inside of my punch. There we go, lining it up just right. I adore this punch. This punch is so versatile. You can use the, first of all, you can make all kinds of different critters with this bird, but you can also use the wing for a leaf or, you know, anything, a flower petal, build your own flower. It's just so fun. So here I attached the wing with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Now I'm taking the very edge of this stamp and I'm actually cutting that very edge in half to make it super duper thin to fit on this stem of this little leaf pattern here. Cutting off the excess and removing the backing when I'm ready to apply it to my card. Kind of eyeballing where I might want it. So I'm bringing in some black Sharpie marker and I'm coloring in the sides to just give it a finished look. Now I'm bringing in some Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and I'm using the very teeny tiniest for an eye on the bird. Just gives it that touch of sparkle. And then here's the stamp set that I am using. I'm actually using a Mother's Day stamp set for this card. This card was for my sister-in-law, my youngest sister-in-law. She's actually older than me, but she's my husband's younger sister. And But the stamp set, I'm going to recommend to you some stamp sets that would be fun to use instead of this Mother's Day stamp, because as of right now that I'm talking to you, it is the 9th, 8th, 7th. It's the 7th of July. It's not available. So you can use the Sassy Salutations. It has a super fun font, and it would go really well with this bird and this watercolored background. Now, I added some embossing buddy. Should have done that before I did the Versamark, but you know, that's all right. And I dipped it in, I stamped it with Versamark, and I'm dipping it in some silver Stamp Emboss powder. Then, of course, I'm using the fabulous heat tool to melt that into a plastic. Now I'm bringing in a standard size basic black cardstock, and it's a top folding card. You may have noticed I really favor top folding cards. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the average card is side folding. I don't know. But I love this though. I put a ton of Stampin' Dimensionals on that and stuck it down. I needed extra Stampin' Dimensionals on that because it was kind of warped from the watercoloring and the heat tool. So no biggie. Always a remedy. There's always a remedy. So now I'm just manipulating this leaf pattern where I see it fits best, and I think it kind of fits best right here, kind of with the leaves nestled in over the end of that Mother's Day sentiment. And the little bird I feel like looks best sitting on top of that little branch. So now the front is somewhat done. I'm bringing in a piece of Whisper White cardstock, another piece, and this one measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I am using my grid paper there to line up some Post-it notes. Any kind of masking would work. So if you have the Post-it note tape, whatever kind of masking you prefer. So I am just masking off a portion that I want to add some more watercolor to. So I'm just making sure my sentiment fits inside of there, and it does. So I'm going to remove it and bring in my acrylic block. This is block E from Stampin' Up, and it's just slightly smaller than the block F. And I'm going to, oddly enough, I used a completely different array of colors. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but it'll just give you another beautiful palette choice you can use. Ideally, I would have stuck with the same color palette for the inside of the card, but it just still has an overall watercolored theme, so I'm not too worried. I wasn't too worried about it at all. So I'm just kind of cleaning up some soppy parts here, just kind of evening out the color distribution, and then spritzing it with water and putting it on the portion of the card that is not masked. So there we have this fun masked off kind of watercolored part. Peel off your mask and dry it up. You can let it air dry. It probably would look way better air dried, but you know, I'm in a rush. So bringing in some Versamark one more time, and a complimentary stamp set, because this Your 1 in a Million stamp I'm using is also no longer available. But the Fabulous 4 stamp set really complements the Sassy Salutations, was it, that I had mentioned before. So then I'm going to dry that all, or melt that embossing powder, and put my powder away. And then I'm going to adhere this to the card on the inside. Okay, now that that's done, I should have left well enough alone because I really like the way it looks just like this. But I just, for some reason, sometimes when you don't walk away from your card and get a second look at it, you tend to kind of overdo it. So I brought in these flowers that you can find. I think I got these at Walmart. I don't know. They're just very inexpensive. You can find them in the arts, more like the fabric portion of the store. But I thought they just added a fun, at the time I thought they added a fun little, you know, element to this card, and they do. It looks fine with them. It seemed like more bulk than I wanted. So I just kind of picked colors that coordinated with the colors that I had picked for the watercolor. And what I'm doing here with my paper snips is I'm trimming off the bulk. I'm flipping it over, each flower, I'm flipping it over and kind of trimming off the bulk of that. It's sewed together at the bottom there, so I'm kind of sewing off that seam that it's sewed with. And I am adding crystal effects to the bottom of each of these. And I keep saying glossy accents because that's what I used before, or I would use before crystal effects. Anyway, crystal effects is the exact same thing. But crystal effects is a fabulous glossy finish to anything you might want to add it to, but it also works as a fabulous adhesive, very strong, and it adheres a multitude of different items to paper, wood, whatever you might want to use it on. So there's the outside. Now I'm going to add one more to kind of bring the outside of the card in, and I picked the pink one, which I'm glad I did just looking back at it, because it does bring that brightness of the cover into the inside of the card, where I didn't use any of the pink or the yellow, which I'm not sure why. Sorry, I'm just not sure why. So I'm adding it right over that sentiment, kind of off to the right side a little bit. And just adjusting it so that it fits right. Now once that's nice and sticky on there, I'm going to flip the card over and put my signature on the back of it, which is my personalized name stamp. So I did the exact same thing. I just, inked it up with some Versamark ink and stamped it on there. Now you see it leaves this kind of darker black. I could have left it like that, let it dry. So that's an option, but this time I chose to add some of the same silver. This happens to be pewter, but we don't have pewter anymore, and the closest embossing powder is silver. So then just drying that up or melting that with the heat tool. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this watercolor background technique for Cards Monday. Please do stop by Candace'sCanvases.com, where you can get more inspiration. You can join my team, and you can shop my Stampin' Up store or my homemade cards or things. So I absolutely look forward to seeing you again, and have a great day. Bye.